I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of a dogfight battle between the Galaxy S4 and the iPhone 5. Is it Android or iOS? Is it Samsung or Apple? Which one is the best? We'll find out in part 2, which starts right now. Part 2 of a dogfight battle between the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the Apple iPhone 5, once known as the industry heavyweight, like I said in part 1, coming under a lot of scrutiny for the fact that they haven't really innovated the OS or perhaps the design of the device in some time. Then you got the Galaxy S4, which arguably is a renovation, or an evolution I should say, of the Galaxy S3, but still packs a lot of software features that really gives it kind of a new feeling, or at least a newer feeling than perhaps the Apple iPhone 5. Before I get too far into the dogfight, I want to give special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile because they give us devices like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. So let's say you go into Best Buy Mobile and you're going to get one of these, you don't know what carrier to get it on. At Best Buy Mobile, they're unbiased, so whether it's AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, whatever it is that works best in your area, they'll give you an unbiased opinion so you can walk out with what's right for you, thanks to Best Buy Mobile. So jumping right into part 2, let's take a look at messages here because I want to show you some of the differences obviously between the keyboards here and some of the personalization choices. Now, after working with Android for a long time, one of the things I really miss about iOS is personalization. There's not a whole lot of it outside of the ability to do little things like change the notifications area, perhaps put weather up here by the stock widget, or change what appears in the notifications bar. Things like that. That's about all you get when it comes to personalization, whereas little things like this, I can come in here on the Galaxy S4, and I can do this on the HTC One as well, and come in and change the bubble style of my text, so I can change the way my text look, I can change the background style, so I can change the way the background looks, and I can do all of this stuff and make it my own. Whereas over here, I don't even have the option, at least in iOS 6, to have a picture preview by my contacts. So if I have a new message, for example, and I say, hey, how are you doing? When it comes up in the main messaging area on iOS, it just shows the names. It'll show John Doe. It won't actually show a picture. These are the kind of things I hope they address in iOS 7. But right now, out of the box, Samsung's keyboard, and then you get swipe as well, as you can see right there, and of course Google Voice typing. Now, a swipe-like functionality, I should say, is available on this keyboard as well. I'll go down here and actually go ahead and get rid of hey, so I can type, and I can either do it like this. Brown fox is happy. Do it like that, or I can type like this. Now, frustrating thing about Samsung's keyboard, I won't spend too much time on this, but there's no autocorrect option in the US version of the Galaxy S4. So it doesn't let you autocorrect. It'll show you like for example, if I say get and I type GER, for example, it'll show get down here, but it won't autocorrect it. I have to physically click on get. Over here, arguably still the best typing experience. Really pleased with the overall performance. They fixed the lag issues that plagued this device when it first came out. So I can say, it is Friday, thanks for the information, let me know. So easy to type on, portrait to landscape mode, nice and fast. So from a fluidity standpoint, still very nice on iOS. That is one area Android has made significant leaps and bounds, but even this one, I see some stutter from time to time on the Galaxy S4, which is kind of a concern. Did not see this on the Note 2 or the Galaxy S3. This thing continues to be exceptionally fluid, and that's something that iOS excels in. So like anything else, it's a trade-off as to what's most important to you. But typing still continues to be really nice on the iPhone 5. So we'll jump from there to the app stores because I want to show you what the respective app stores look like. They've both grown significantly since we've done dogfights between iOS and Android. As you can see right here, here's what they look like walking out. And again, putting these side by side really shows you the screen differences between these two units. In Google Play, apps, movies, TV, books, games, music, and magazines. Here you've got newsstand and a couple of other options, but we're just looking at the App Store right now where I've got my top charts, my top free applications, and I can see all of those just by clicking right there. And then I'll go over here and do top free so you can see in kind of a comparison mode what they look like. So easy to install on both of these devices. Let's say Facebook, for example, on both, which it should pop up. I don't know, I'm assuming Facebook's pretty popular, but let's say Instagram, for example, on both. So you can see what the preview pages look like. Green here signifies that this is an application as opposed to, let's say, red for music, excuse me, red for, I believe it's, yeah, music is red and books is blue, if I remember right, but I could be wrong there. Previews, as you see right here, and I've got what's new, description, and then I've got reviews and related up here at the top, whereas down here it's just kind of all in one general area. So I've got that. I've got the Genius mode. I've got updates to my applications where if I do have this, I can see what I've purchased with that Apple login ID. Very similar to coming over here on Android and saying my applications and just taking a look right there and seeing what I have. So similar functionality, a little bit different in the way that they're implemented. Again, apples to apples for the most part, kind of tomato kind of thing. A little bit different depending on your preferred version of an OS. And we'll take a look at the phone as well so you can see what that looks like. Dial pad right here, a little bit different on iOS 6 than it has been on previous versions of iOS. And then over here, you've got a little bit of a different version as well, thanks to the fact that at least on the US models, Samsung opted for a white background instead of a black background. So a little bit different with the keypad. We can do do Alexa Stevenson, for example, as you see right there. And then 4, 6, 7, 8. You can see what it looks like obviously on the iOS side as well. Visual voicemail, your tabs are still down here with contacts, recent, and favorites, whereas you've got that up here as well. Favorites, contacts, and that is about it. And of course recents here, favorites if you have them, and more. So again, pretty self-explanatory. One thing I do like about iOS, I just wish they fleshed it out a little bit more, is this application called Passbook, where you can easily sync up your American account, your Delta account, your other British Airways, for example, Walgreens, and bring in all of those into one application where when you're flying, it shows you your Passbook and says, hey, you know what, you're on American Flight 3 from wherever to wherever, you're in first class, you're in seat 3A, and it'll bring up the ticket in Passbook auto-magically. I like using that word. So auto-magically it brings it up. So just showing you personalization options here, you can see a wealth of difference between Android and iOS, but then more specifically between TouchWiz and iOS. You still don't have a whole lot of customization over here in iOS. Besides brightness, wallpaper, the lock screen wallpaper, that's about all, and maybe a ringtone, that's about all the customization you have. There is a wealth of customization over here, and for some people it may be too much, but for those people that enjoy kind of making their device their own and playing around, this could be a unique device for them. Well, first of all, you can see in Android 4.2, just by swiping with 2 fingers, I can access my quick notifications here, and I can move these around as I see fit just by hitting edit right there. So again, back to that whole customizing and making it your own. Let's say I don't use Wi-Fi as much, but you know what? I use power saving on a regular basis. I can bring it right up there, and now power saving is up there in my top near my frequently used notifications. I've got a brightness shortcut as well. I can kick into settings, and instead of having just brightness and wallpaper, which apparently I forgot to leave on the auto lock here, the auto brightness turn off, over here I can see display, for example, and not only can I change the wallpaper, but I can change the notification panel, which I just showed you. I can do multi-window, so I can use 2 applications at the same time. That's multi-window. Screen mode, I've got auto rotate screen. I've got my daydream mode, which is a feature of Android, my font style, my battery percentage. I've got a bunch of different options here on the lock screen as well. So screen lock difference, multiple widgets down in the front, so you can see here, lock screen widgets. Favorite apps are camera, my personal message, which you saw maybe in the beginning of part 1 where it says phone dog. Let's see. Phone dog is the best. Saw a little bit of lag there if you didn't catch that. Phone dog is the best, and from here I can add widgets like typical Android 4.2. Don't have a whole lot of customization over here with the exception of the fact that I can lift to access the camera from my lock screen, and then of course when I get messages I can swipe over to access those and go directly into the application, but you really don't get a whole lot of customization. So I know I keep harping on that, but for me these devices are right around the same cost, so I would be looking at it from, hey, what's most important to me or what's most important to my budget kind of standpoint. So we'll take a look here again at customizations and we'll wrap out with that. You got your home screen mode where I can go in here and select an easier mode for people to be used to Android. If it perhaps is their first time, they can customize it and make it their own. And I can go down here and see all my motions and gestures in Air View, which I talked about in part 1. So chock full of features, and of course my account's all separated by tabs up here in the top and available on just as many carriers as the Apple iPhone, so keep that in mind. It's a tough dogfight battle because it really depends on what's most important to you. I mean, hardware-wise, the iPhone 5 is hard to beat. It's really a beautiful piece of hardware. The metal is nice. It makes it a little bit more prone probably to dropping versus the Galaxy S4, perhaps with the Gorilla Glass 3 option on the Galaxy S4 that it has, but still, love the design of the iPhone 5, and you see that reflected in the most recent Android device, the HTC One. That said, Galaxy S4 chock full of features. The availability is exactly the same now on the major 4 carriers as the iPhone. So the iPhone's kind of lost that competitive edge of being A, on multiple carriers, B, being revolutionary in the design that everybody wants. People are really impressed with the larger displays over here, and people really enjoy the features. So whether you're going to use the features or not, maybe you call them gimmicky, I would take a look and see perhaps S-Beam's important to you, where you can put up 2 Android devices back to back and sync up files. Maybe that's an important feature to you. Maybe AirView is important to you. Maybe even something, as you can see right here, my device will go down to motions and gestures. Maybe air gesture or palm motion, you like to take screenshots, and that's important to you. So you can take a screenshot quickly and easily, not to say you can't do that on the iPhone 5, but easier to manage over on this device. The winner of the dogfight is the Galaxy S4 just because of the features and usability, but that said, there's a huge market for Android devices that are around this same size, so here's to hoping that somebody will release, maybe Samsung or HTC, a device about this size but has just as many features as maybe a Galaxy S4 or an HTC One. It's a tough call. They're both great devices, but at the end of the day, the Galaxy S4 takes the cake. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. I'm on Facebook at Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker and Google Plus at Gplus.to/PhoneDog. Thanks much for watching. Keep it locked on the site. We'll have a dogfight very soon between this and the HTC One, so you're going to want to watch because you never know who could win in a dogfight battle. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.